Hey out there, I'm Madison Parker with Equipped to Endure. Glad you joined me. This is a follow-up part on archery. This is our second part of two-part archery. Now this is about the arrow, and make no mistake that, you know, just to learn how to build a bow, you're probably going to need to build at least 4 or 5 bows before you really have the science of building bows down, okay? So you get 4 or 5 bows under your belt and you get to where you can really do one on your own. You don't need any help. You pretty much got all the bugs worked out of your mind, and you know how to negotiate through taking a stave from a big piece of wood down to a very bendable thin piece of wood that will take a string and then bend properly and shoot right. So that's a 3 or 4 day process. You know, for me it takes me about 4 days. If I go real fast I can do it in 2. But it does take some time to learn those things. But now we're talking about arrows, and oh my gosh, you talk about painstaking. Now if bows are on a scale of 1 to 10 with regard to complexity of development, saying that a bow is from a scale 1 to 10 would be say a 6. The arrows would be a 10. I mean, straight up to the 10 without any mistake. An arrow like this, just one arrow by itself could take you as long as 2 or 3 days after you've already let it cure. So when you talk about the entire process of cutting it, you know, harvesting this, you know, checking the spine, fletching it, straightening it, and then putting a point on it. Now this is a river cane arrow, which has been straightened with fire. It's got a bone point on it. If you can see this point, I want to look real close. This is a femur bone of a deer that I killed with my slingshot in Fort Knox, Kentucky, and I kept the femur bone out of that. I brought it home and I made arrow points out of the femur bone, and I've got several of these. But I made these, mostly I don't hunt with these that much. Mostly these are pretty much my you know, they're show arrows, but you can hunt with them, I mean, easily. These are hunting arrows, but I don't typically hunt with these, but I would hunt with them if I had to. But they could easily suffice to hunt with. These are turkey fletchings. I've got a 4-side fletch on these, which is very painstaking. And of course I got my arrow nock, and everything's tied on. This is a very primitive process. And like I say, just this one arrow, probably 4 or 5 days, just one arrow. Because first you got to harvest it and let it dry. Then once it dries, then you got to heat it up and straighten it. And once you straighten it, then you got to get a flint knap or a point for it. You got to make your own point. Then you got to cut a notch and put the point into it and then wrap it. Then you got to get your feathers and split them off down the center of the vein, and you got to thin them down, and then you got to attach them one at a time. This right here can take as much as a half a day, just 4 feathers, a 4 fletch. Take a half a day, just this part right here. Very painstaking, very long period of time to labor in this thing, but this is all primitive. There's nothing store-bought in this arrow. This is sinew right here, the wrap. You look real close, this right here where my finger is, that's sinew. That is not cord from synthetic fiber. This is a sinew from the leg of a buffalo, okay? This right here is also sinew. You can see where I've got the fletching tied off. This is sinew right here, and this right here is also sinew. So the entire arrow is wrapped with sinew with turkey fletching. And by the way, these turkey these turkey feathers here that I've got fletched with is the turkey I killed in Fort Knox, Kentucky, also right before I killed a deer, and it was all done with a slingshot, by the way, so it's kind of interesting. But these are the other arrows, and I'll just go through them real quick. This is a river cane arrow. This arrow right here is made from rosewood. This is a rose bush from a friend of mine's mother's, garden. You can see a hand forged arrow point, a rose bush shaft, and a different fletch. You see that fletch? That's a two fletch arrow. This is a very ancient technique for fletching, and I just was experimenting when I built this fletch, but this has worked fine. This is a good fletch. Very different. Okay, going into, this is Yaupon. This is a very tough wood, and it's very stiff. Now you'd have to have, for shooting this arrow, you need a pretty strong bow. Because this bow right here, I mean this arrow right here has quite a bit of spine in it, probably 60-65 spine. Now this is a 3-fletch feather, and I've got it tied with sinew on both ends and a hand forged steel point. Okay, so that's a Yaupon. And coming back over, got my other rosewood arrow. I think, yeah, that's rosewood. Another
massive
hand forged steel. Sinew here, rosewood, 3-fletched, 3 arrow fletched on this one.
That's nice.
Rosewood, and you got the tip. You got the arrow knock. Very painstaking on this one. Okay, going back to the river cane, this is more of the femur bone from the deer leg. This looks more traditional in its type. Fletch, 3-side, 4-side on this, 4-side fletch, very involved. And then ultimately, this is Yaupon. This is more Yaupon, and this is a nice arrow. This got a little bit better, lighter spine. This would shoot probably 50-55. Got a nice other piece of femur bone that I shaved down, chipped this down, and flint knapped this bone tip. Got a sinew support, and then you got the 4-fletch arrow, feathers, everything nice. This is all sinew here, and you can see I fletched all the way to the end. Okay, that's pretty much it with the arrows. Hey, you want to get into bows, you got to know how to make arrows, and arrows is another week. You take 1 week to learn how to build a bow, you got to take another week just to do arrows. It's a very long process. A lot of people aren't willing to take that much time just to learn one skill. And of course, then you have to learn how to make your own strength. And then you have to have a quiver. Oh my gosh, it's pretty involved. But we're here to share with you. If you're interested in learning these skills, you want to come and learn, we'd love to have you. The season's coming up. It's the time of year where it kind of gets in your blood if you're into hunting in a primitive setting or a primitive way. Right now is the time to start learning. But anyway, we hope you enjoyed this segment on arrows, or primitive arrows, handmade arrows. I am Madison Parker, Equipped to Endure, and I appreciate you watching. And remember, if you're not always prepared, you're never prepared. Thanks for watching.
Hey guys, something big's coming.